We are inside of our fantasy football in focus, a coverage of fantasy football in the NFL every single week, every single season, every single team. So, NFL Week 6 of the 2023-24 season. Happy to be here with you, hanging out where sports truly meets that thing called life. Can't thank you enough for being a part of the show here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and it's time for us to jump right into things in NFL Week 6, proudly presented by the Wildcat Sports Pub, 3680 Milton Avenue in Camillus, New York. If you have a question about your specific fantasy team, make sure you send it over to us. We're happy to answer those questions for you folks, so just make sure you send them right off to us here on any one of our outlets you're watching and listening on. So you are with us on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. You're also with us on facebook.com/wakeupcalldt. And of course, you can find us on wakeupcalldt.podbean.com as well. So definitely make sure that you find us on any one of these outlets and send us in your questions. I am happy to answer those questions and get to all of them here. As long as you send them during the live show, I will get to each and every single one of those questions. So make sure you send those off to us today. And we appreciate everybody who has sent us their questions for the fantasy football in focus here, that we bring you fantasy football coverage every single week on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. So if you have a question, send it over to us and let us know where you hail from as well. We always love to give shout outs to where people are from. So once you send it in, we had someone from Oahu, Hawaii last week. We have had plenty from the state of California. We have had from New Jersey. We have had from the state of New York, and so on and so forth. We've had Texas as well, so we appreciate y'all for connecting with us, however you connect with us, wherever you are, and get into that love for fantasy football together. It's a passion of mine. It's a passion of yours, and I love the fact that we get to share that together. So if you have a fantasy football question, make sure you send it over to us here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life, and you can send it to facebook.com/wakeupcalldt, youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, and on wakeupcalldt.podbean.com. So however you're connected with us, make sure you send it over to us today. Like I said, proudly presented by the Wildcat Sports Pub. The Wildcat is the premier place for you in Central and Upstate New York. It's our exclusive home of our fantasy football teams, our Gridiron Gurus League, and our Captains on Call League here in Central and Upstate New York. So make sure you make your way out to the Wildcat every single week to watch the games and in general. So Wildcat Sports Pub, 3680 Milton Avenue in Camillus, New York. It's in the Home Depot Plaza. You can also connect with them for takeout and delivery by calling 315-487-2222. That's 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat. So make sure you get in touch with them today. And I thank everybody who's gone out to the Wildcat and trusted our thoughts that you should give it a shot. It's a wonderful place filled with wonderful people, led by a wonderful ownership, and that starts at the top with Danny Tome. So I want to thank Danny for all the work that he's doing and everything that everybody's doing out there at the Wildcat Sports Pub. We appreciate you. We thank you so much, and I look forward to everything that is to come with the Wildcat. So a lot of love, a lot of positivity, as always, going out to everybody at the Wildcat. Hope you're doing well this morning, and I always look forward to seeing you and talking with you. Went out there for some pizza this week and had a great time with my buddy Isaac. So big time shout out to the Wildcat Sports Pub. With that being said, speaking of shout outs, I said every week we're going to shout out our league. So before we get into picking these fantasy players here for you, I want to give shout-outs where shout-outs are due. So in our Gridiron Gurus League that we have at the Wildcat Sports Pub, I want to give a shout-out in the standings here. In the East, my team is actually at the top of the East with the Benchwarmers team and the Team West. So we're all 3-2. New York Sack Exchange is 2-3, and Chicks Dig the Pigskin 2, 1-4 in the East of the Gridiron Gurus. In the West, Chase for the Cup is 4-1, the best record in our league overall. Dab is 3-2, and the one heller of a team 2-3. Team Karski 2-3, and OHIO also 2-3 in the West Division of the Gridiron Gurus. So a big time shout out to everybody there. And in the scoreboard for NFL Week 5, let's take a look back here. My team won, as well as OHIO, Team West, Team Karski, and the New York Sack Exchange all added victories to their records. Inside of our Captains on Call League, for Captains on Call here, want to give a shout out to the standings. I am not doing well. Waddle like a Lazard. I feel like I need to change my name. I thought that kind of when I created the name. And I think I'm going to need to also change some of my people on my team. So in the West Division, Team Green 4-1. That's Pete Green from Mother's Cupboard. Shout out to Pete. Beg, Burrow, and Steele also 4-1. Team Thurlow 3-2. You got beat by a girl 2-3. Win it for Nate and Waddle like a Lazard are both 1-4. Waddle like a Lazard's my team, so got to figure something out in the East there. In the West of our Captains on Call League at the Wildcat Sports Pub, Big Bing Boss to Mouth, or Bass to Mouth, 4-1. Dude Where's Lamar 3-2. Password is Taco 3-2. Dante, don't you want me baby, but Dante want me baby for Dante Foreman 2-3. Man Trash Panda 2-3. And Real Bad Juju is 1-4. And Bad Juju, I think, would be 1-4. So maybe change the name on that one. My Marywood Alumni League. Oh, and I want to talk about who won this week as well. So giving a shout out to those that are in my league. If you'd like to join one of our leagues, send an email to dtstays@gmail.com to sign up for next year. We are taking people signing up right now for next year. So that's dtstays@gmail.com. Shoot me a message so that we can get you on there. Beg, Burrow, and Steele got a win. Team Thurlow, Team Green got a victory, too, by almost 100 points. Man, Trash Panda won a close one. Dude Where's Lamar won a close one, 11 points. And Password is Taco won a game there by 44 points. Shout out to the number 44 that keeps showing up. I feel like Floyd Little's trying to say something to me. I'm listening, Floyd. And I love you, my friend. So let's jump to the Marywood League. In the Marywood League, the standings for our Marywood League that we have here with my Marywood alumni. In the East, Organic Herbert's 4-1. My team, Ridley Me This, is 3-2. Cooking for More, 3-2. The Chiefs Kingdom, 2-3. In the West, Dallas Roscoe's 3-2. Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood is 2-3. That's Brendan Murphy from DT and Murphy. Virginia Ballers is 2-3. Your Mom Called is 1-4. And looking at the scoreboard from this past week, shouting out those in the Marywood League, Ridley Me This, my team scored over 200 points, 201. Organic Herbert, who's above me there by just a little bit, also scored 200, 207. We both won. The Chiefs Kingdom won, and Cooking for More also got victories here. And in our Florida League, my team is called Pickin' Flowers because I have George Pickens and Zay Flowers. The standings in the Florida League, we have in the East, Meet the Robinsons is 5-0. The only undefeated team of any one of my 4 leagues this year. Shout out to my guy Rick Etienne, who's been on the show before. Team Elite is 3-2. Wicked Lester's 2-3. My team Pickin' Flowers is 2-3. In the West, Y'all Suck, which is Jason Lucas, who's been on the team before, or been on the show before many times. He's 3-2. Buckhammer's team is 3-2. The Black Pearl is 2-3. Florida Meatball 1 is 0-5. That's my big brother. And our scoreboard from this past week, Team Elite, Meet the Robinsons, the Black Pearl, and Y'all Suck all had victories. Meet the Robinsons scored 261 points in their victory, beating a team who scored 194, which is typically enough. But Meet the Robinsons, taking a look back at it, Jalen Hurts got him 38, Bijan Robinson 19, Travis Etienne Jr. got him 14, Tyreek Hill got him 21, DJ Moore got him 15, Dalton Schultz got him 7, A.J. Brown got him 20. Chris Olave got him 16. Dolphins defense and special teams got him 9. And Jake Elliott of Philadelphia got him 9 there. That's crazy. 261 points for Rick. That dude is he's going ham on the league right now, I'll tell you that much. So congratulations to my guy Rick. If you have a question on your fantasy football team, make sure you send it over to us. Be happy to help you with your fantasy football team for sure. So send over your questions here to us. We're going to go down the line as we always do. You see it from top to bottom. That's how we do it here. And so I'll start with the Thursday night game, and then I'll move all the way down to Monday Night Football. Keep in mind, the Green Bay Packers and the Pittsburgh Steelers are off this week, so please do not put them on your roster unless you want to help to expedite your loss. So do not put anybody out there that's on a bye week. Make sure you're checking your roster. I know some people set it and forget it, or maybe they've won a bunch, so they're like, I don't want to change anything. Well, you may have some injuries, and you may have some people on bye week. So I'm just going to need you to make sure you check that out before you go and just say, no, I'm going to keep it the way that it is, right? Just set it and forget it. So make sure you're checking your roster out and doing what you can to make sure that you have everything ready for this upcoming week for fantasy football. And like I said, definitely willing to help you. Shoot your questions over to us. Happy to answer your questions and to bring you whatever you got going on, whether it's do I make this trade, or it's a question about who you set in your lineup or whoever it may be, or who should be on your bench, who should you get rid of, who's on the waiver wire. Happy to help you with all your fantasy questions. You just got to make sure to send them over to us and get them over to me as soon as possible so I can answer them in real time. With that being said, it is time for us to jump into it with Denver at Kansas City. Thursday night football coming to you, a quick turnaround week for the Denver Broncos. And so taking a look at their schedule here, the Denver Broncos, listen, they're fighting at this point, they're fighting for the number one pick. And against them, trying to keep them from that number one pick, the Chicago Bears and the Carolina Panthers. But Denver is one of the worst teams out there. And I don't think that's any shock to anyone who has watched the first 5 weeks, but it may be a shock to you because of the talent that they have on the team. You would expect this Denver Broncos team, just like last year, to be better, but once again, it wasn't Nate Hackett's fault. And for those of you that finally understand that, finally get it, I'm happy that you guys are paying attention with your eyes and ears and not just with the opinions of others, to realize that this was never a Nate Hackett problem. I told you that last year. I told you that the entire time that he was there. Some people listened to me, some people didn't, but it wasn't Nate Hackett's fault, and hopefully you can see that now with the team continuing to look very similar to last year despite having the talent. Javonte Williams, he was a full participant at walkthrough. If he's able to go, it's Kansas City. I would consider putting Javonte out as a running back 2 or 3. Because he's still talented. Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton are wide receiver 3s for me. Just because Denver struggles to move the ball, I don't have Russell Wilson as a quarterback you should be putting out there. On the other side of it, for Kansas City, Pat Mahomes, yes. Isaiah Pacheco, yes. I would say wide receiver-wise, it's difficult because, again, Kansas City is a wide receiver by committee. They don't have that one dominant guy where you're like, that's the guy they're going to go to every single week. Case in point, they change their guys, right? They've changed their guys over these